Please convey to him that it's important I speak with him. Okay, you have a nice day now. Hi. I have your resume here somewhere. Excuse me while I do 20 things at once.
Now then, I hope you brought another copy of your resume. I seem to have misplaced it.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Before we get started, is there something I can offer you to drink? Water? Coffee? Herbal tea?
Thank you for coming on such short notice. I really appreciate it. Make yourself comfy.
All right. I see you are a comparative literature major and an art history minor.
Actually, I majored in both. It was a double major.
What the hell were you gonna do with that?
I majored in American literature myself, but that's neither here nor there. So, your last job was with Sphinx Publishing. We almost acquired them, you know. Anyway, why don't you tell me what your duties were vis-a-vis Sphinx?
Well, I worked in the production department, so I maintained schedules, estimated pricing, created invoices and purchase orders. There was a lot of phone work. Phones, always on the phone.
I see. Why don't I tell you a little bit about the foundation, and then I'll discuss the specifics of the position. We are a private philanthropic organization devoted to fostering the betterment of humankind. We provide grants to various organizations, not individuals. Our primary concerns are poverty, education, and the arts. We address these concerns on a global scale.
We're looking for someone with stick-to-itiveness. Someone who will excel at being an editorial assistant / administrative assistant. Now, let me convey to you what that means exactly. First of all, do you know what we do here?
No, not really.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, we produce a wide variety of lavatory accessories for non-residential restrooms. June, will you get me something to drink? So as I was saying, lavatory accessories for offices, industrial plants, airports, sports facilities, institutions of all kinds. Now, the editorial assistant aspect comes into place because we produce a quarterly newsletter, which I can't seem to find.
Direct mail marketing. I assume you know what that is.
Junk mail?
Essentially, yes.
I just lost my chain of thought.
Newsletter?
Right, the newsletter. We distribute this document to clients as well as our employees. Now, the administrative aspect, that crap end, so to speak, comes into play because we process every piece of paper.
Our missions are, broadly speaking, the foci of the Foundation's giving. Now, what does that mean, or should I say, what does that entail?
It entails doing whatever I tell you to do.
Processing 1099s, W-2s, W-4s,
You'll handle my clients' fan mail. You'll handle administrivia.
PR, AP,
You'll handle my schedule. You'll handle my laundry.
and of course, there's AR.
You'll wipe my ass if I tell you to.
It's a wonderful job, truly. It can be quite rewarding, even magical at times.
Can I ask why the position is available?
Oh, certainly. The position is being vacated by me.
Are you being promoted?
Actually, I'll be attending graduate school full-time. T.S. Eliot, morning, noon, and night.
That sounds like quite an undertaking.
You're good. You know, these interviews are such BS.
You know the questions I'm gonna ask, and I know the answers you're gonna give. But we have to go through the motions, right?
I suppose so.
All right, let's get started then.
Do you work well independently?
do you consider yourself a team player?
Convey to me why you want this job.
What can you bring to this job others can't?
Tell me something about yourself that's not on the resume.
Do you work well under pressure?
Do you view the glass as half full or half empty?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Finish this sentence.
When I look in the mirror,
If you could do one thing to alter this universe.
What would you do?
you can be anything you want.
What would you be?
Larry?
Curly.
Or Mo.
God.
Yes or no?
No.
The question I loathe asking.
What do you think?
Is your
Biggest weakness.
Sometimes I focus on the details a little too intensely when maybe I should be looking at the bigger picture. I'm a big picture kind of guy. I may get caught up in the larger issues at the expense of the less important details. I can be a workaholic. I don't really have a life outside of my job, so I wind up putting all my energy into my work. My biggest weakness? Sugary breakfast cereals. I'm working on it.
That's very cute. So tell me this, is this something you're interested in?
Oh, yes, very interested, definitely. I like the idea of working for a small company, nonprofit, one person. Enormous corporations offer the structure that I thrive in. The most important thing to me, really, is serving the good of humankind. The most important thing, really, to me, is the room for growth. Job security is really the most important thing to me. And there will always be a need for lavatory products, I imagine.
I think you hit the nail right on the nose. If I may be allowed to mix my cliches. Oh, well, I'm sure you have a query or two.
Money, 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 money.
We'll talk about that at the next stage.
And we should arrive at a decision by early next week.
But I want to thank you for coming in.
And before you go, I would like to convey to you that you are one of the front runners.
And if I decide to hire you, you'll hear from me. If I don't, you won't.
What do you think is your biggest weakness?
Welcome back to On Location Behind the Scenes. Do you think $10,000 is a lot of money? Well, not when you're trying to make a movie. Lately, independent films seem to be the talk of the town. But how do independent producers make a film for a fraction of the cost of a major motion picture? How can a film be made for thousands of dollars when you hear of budgets in the tens of millions? Well, next up, we hit the streets with the hardest working movie makers on the scene today. the low-budget indies.
Mark. Frame.
Action. Entail? What does the job entail?
If you are someone who's got a great deal of imagination and can think on your feet and you're creative, then you can make a film for very little money. Low-budget filmmaking I've been involved in for about 8 years. Started PAing, working as assistant to a director, and then production coordinating, production managing commercials, and that led me to want to produce my own short films. What I hope to aspire to be is someday working in budgets of about $1 million, $2 million, but by Hollywood standards, that's extremely low. Today's film is about $10,000. A low-budget film does not necessarily have to mean filming on location, but most of the time it does. If you do shoot on location, it's usually cheaper because it's there. There's nothing that you have to pay, or you have to pay very little. As it turns out, the guy that we cast as the lead, his father owns this building. So we came, we saw, we liked, and it's free. So we liked it even more. You really should avoid paying crew. There are plenty of people who are willing and wanting to work. They want the experience, they want to meet other people. A lot of this is about networking. You got to scratch each other's backs, and a lot of people really rely upon that. That's the only way you can really make things work out.
You'll handle my schedule. You'll handle
Cast.
administration.
Simplest thing in the world, cast. There are so many people who really want to have their work on film. They'll probably pay you to get the role and get the experience. And fortunately, the unions all have these deals that they do for low-budget, no-budget filmmakers that allow them to use professionals without having to pay them until the film actually makes some money.
The great thing about making low-budget films is you just have to answer to yourself. You know, you don't have to worry about pleasing distributors and pleasing producers and pleasing executives. And you're just doing it and hoping that it works and hoping that it brings enjoyment to a few people who are going to see it. I'd make this movie again in a heartbeat. A little bit higher budget would be nice.
Unfortunately, when you don't have a lot of money, that affects your supplies as well. And that just means being conservative, using wisely. Your raw film stock is going to be the most expensive thing. This means instead of 6, 12, 30 takes, you do 2, 3 takes. You're not going to have as much equipment.
This actually is equipment that the producer somehow managed to obtain. I'm not sure where, but I'm happy to have it.
That's a cut.
How'd it look?
Look good.
Look good?
I'd love to work on a set that had enough money to really pay for
Want to speed it up?
the basics. Low-budget filmmaking is a lot of jerry-rigging, a lot of just sort of piecing things together, you know, coming up with solutions to really absurd problems, but making them work.
One time in particular when we were running and gunning to get a shot, one of our main pieces of equipment broke. It's a suction mount that you place on a hood of a car. So the DP and I put our heads together and we just jerry-rigged a mount that probably by any union person's standards would probably look quite dangerous.
Today I'm working on this production as kind of a AD production manager, helping out one of my friends who's directing a little pet project, no pun intended, with all these dogs.
This is a spoof documentary about a dog walker. Sort of a Spinal Tap type thing, 5 to 7 minutes long.
We've actually already encountered one problem in the fact that there's another production happening less than a half a block away, and they're much bigger than we are, so we have to work around them. They're not going to do us a favor by clearing the street, so we have to move over to another street to shoot.
This is costing Max almost nothing, I believe. I got him the equipment, and everybody here is friends. I mean, we all know each other from way back. I think it basically all it costs him is bagels and coffee in the morning, and film.
Never work with dogs.
Coco! Coco, sit.
Most of the time I work with directors who are also the writer, and usually it's money that they've been saving for many, 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 many years. If you don't have that money to spend freely, it forces you to become creative. It forces you to come up with new ways of doing things and being very imaginative.
When I'm involved in a location scout, not only am I looking at the space, but I'm also looking at what's in it. What I can pilfer, what I can sort of rearrange. You sometimes have to do a little bit of set recycling too, where you have a small budget, you shop it out of stores that have return policies.
If you don't have any access to any buildings, make it something that happens in the park. Location, food, talk to your mother, talk to your grandmother, talk to your friends. These are the kind of things that you really rely upon. It not only does it keep the cost down, but it keeps your spirits up because people believe in you.
How could you not want to do something like this?
We'll be right back with more from On Location, Behind the Scenes.